47th President Donald Trump getting to work immediately, signing executive orders following his inauguration. Thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Alexandra Lewis. There's a new president and dozens of new executive orders ranging from immigration to the climate to gender identity that awaits his signature. Trump took the oath of office inside the Capitol Rotunda. It's only the second time in some 40 years that cold weather impacted Inauguration Day. After taking the oath, President Trump headed over to Capital One Arena, where roughly 20,000 of his supporters were waiting to hear from him. That is a much smaller crowd than the hundreds of thousands who had initially planned to watch from the National Mall. Right after his speeches, President Trump said he planned to sign a number of executive orders. This is him signing cabinet documents after taking the oath of office. We've heard of more than 50 orders he's expected to sign this day, the very first day of his administration. 10 of those are related to immigration and the border, including declaring a national border emergency that would be a step towards facilitating deportations. Kyle Clark will join us today at 4:30 with more on the immigration orders and how Denver's mayor is reacting.
For the second time since it became a federal holiday in 1983, Martin Luther King Jr. Day coincides with Inauguration Day. It's the last time it happened was when Bill Clinton took office. That would be in 1997. The next time MLK and Inauguration Day are scheduled to fall on the same day is 2053. A ways from now. Today's cold weather made a big impact on MLK celebrations in Colorado, but it didn't stop people from honoring the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr.
9 News reporter Jeremy Hohola joins us now after attending this morning's parade in Denver.
Yeah, even though temperatures were topping off at just a few degrees this morning, hundreds of people showed up just beneath the statue of Martin Luther King Jr. They echoed his words just as the country swore in a new president. Bundled up and huddled together among heaters and beneath the image of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
You all keep this going no matter how cold it is, no matter how few people there are.
People came, as they always have, to this historic corner of Denver's City Park.
I'm braving the cold because Martin Luther King did it and we can do it.
In the past, the parade has seen numbers in the thousands, but hundreds of people still showed up to honor the civil rights leader.
I'm braving the cold today because we have a legacy to uphold. Dr. King marched for us and he fought for our rights, and the least that I can do is show up and show my support and continue this legacy.
But here, crowd numbers didn't matter. In true spirit, words transcended the cold, where Denver has historically held one of the largest MLK Jr. gatherings in the country.
We proved that we could do something in Denver and something in Colorado that doesn't happen in the South and other parts of the country. You couldn't get people in Atlanta to come out in this kind of weather. Mississippi, Alabama either. They ain't coming out when they see snow.
That's former Denver Mayor Wellington Webb, who spoke with his wife Wilma Webb. Today's presidential inauguration was referenced a few times before the crowd.
There are administrations and nations that are changing as we speak. That we should never, ever let down for the principles of justice, for the principles of freedom, for the principles of love and care for humanity, for the principles of peace.
A few warming shelters were set up along the route from City Park to Civic Center Park. Now, back in 1986, during one of the first marches, 15,000 people attended in Denver, but it's no doubt, despite the cold, the tradition continues today. Alex, back to you.
It's incredible to see that crowd. It just shows the pull that MLK Jr. has on so many people.
Absolutely.
So many years later. It's incredible to see. Jeremy, thank you. We're expecting another big drop in temperatures tonight. Several school districts have already made the call for a delayed start tomorrow. That includes Denver Public Schools, Douglas County, Cherry Creek, Aurora Public Schools, and Poudre School District. You can see the full list of delays and closings right now on 9news.com.
We're not out of the woods by any means yet with this brutal cold. 72 hours and counting that we've been dealing with below freezing temps. Tonight, we're going to see another big drop. Waking up tomorrow, we will see again extremely low temperatures. There is relief on the way. And we're talking about relief before June, Kathy.
Yes. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Well, I was just thinking about that last night. I'm like, it's not that far away. This January has been rough.
It has. And we are kind of at the pinnacle, the peak, the apex of the Arctic cold. This outbreak, this is the coldest day today with a high of 10, and it will be the coldest night tonight with my forecast low of -10. But it's the wind chill. We're talking about a wind chill of about 20 to 25 below. So a lot of schools delayed, and rightfully so. Some of the roads are a little bit icy. There's a little bit snow-packed out there still, but really it's just the temperature trend. If you're trying to get out there, you need to be layered up. We started off with temperatures below 0. The snow has moved south and east away from the area. Skies are clearing. Weather headlines, we continue with a cold weather advisory. Dangerous wind chills tonight and tomorrow morning. The coldest of the air mass is settling over Colorado right now. Matter of fact, we have a current reading of 6 degrees in Denver. Winds, though light, are still a factor when you're talking about wind chill. Current wind chill in Colorado Springs is 17 below, -20 in Leadville, -7 in Greeley, and we'll see even colder air coming in overnight tonight. The extreme cold warning now covers much of western Colorado and the eastern plains. The areas in purple are where we expect wind chills to 50 below. That's very dangerous for animals and, of course, humans. So as skies clear, good radiational cooling with light winds and a fair amount of snow cover. Temperatures are not going to move a whole lot over the next couple of hours. Much more on when we get above freezing, and a look ahead at the next storm on the way. We'll have all that just ahead.
Continuing coverage of the events in Washington today, on his final morning in office, former President Joe Biden issued several high-profile pardons. The outgoing president said he made the move to protect people that President Trump had threatened. General Mark Milley and Dr. Anthony Fauci were two of the top officials on the list. Biden also preemptively pardoned his siblings and their spouses. The members and staff who served on the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol, including Liz Cheney, were also preemptively pardoned. One of the first executive orders President Trump is planning to sign is directed at the transgender community. His order proclaims that the U.S. government only recognizes 2 genders, male and female.
It also prevents taxpayer funds from being used for gender-affirming care. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry sat down with LGBTQ advocates who say they're not giving up trans rights without a fight.
Splayed across this screen is a guarantee people like Jax Gonzalez have fought for.
Lots of information.
A promise they hope isn't soon broken.
So right now we have in practice that gender affirming care is an essential health benefit. This care is just part of that individual freedom to express yourself and to access care.
Gonzalez is the political director at One Colorado. This state legislative session, they hoped to secure access to gender affirming care.
So we are just ensuring that those exist long term here.
Long term may have been cut short.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
President Trump's inauguration speech spelled out a slew of his first few executive orders. That includes one that will only recognize 2 genders and prevent taxpayer funds from being used for gender transition health care.
Executive orders come and go, but what hell is he going to wreak in 4 years?
Marty Moore is the executive director of Rocky Mountain Equality. She says LGBTQ advocates here in Colorado have already been in touch with lawyers trying to figure out their next steps.
Rocky Mountain Equality has a bill that's supposed to roll out pretty soon too, and I won't tip my hand to what that is, but it's in protection of trans rights, and this gives me great concern. I know that people on both sides of the aisle agree that transgender people exist. Whether they like it or not is another story.
What happens next is unclear, but advocates say they will continue to battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
A promise they vow to keep.
Colorado is a place that's open for all.
Advocate groups will spend the next few days dissecting these executive orders and figuring out how it will impact the LGBTQ community and then create an action plan. The executive order President Trump is expected to sign will also end a number of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs inside federal agencies. Jaleesa Irizarry, 9 News.
All right, Jaleesa, thank you. Today, we learned the woman who planned who Planned Parenthood for more than a decade has died. According to a family statement, Cecil Richards died early this morning. Last year, she revealed she had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of brain cancer. Richards became president of the Planned Parenthood Action Fund in 2006 and served in that post till 2018. In the last years at the organization, she faced off with Donald Trump, who moved on abortion restrictions, cut back protections for Planned Parenthood services. Cecil Richards was 67. Happening this week, a public memorial will be held Wednesday for legendary CU football coach Bill McCartney. The 84-year-old died January 10th from complications with dementia. The memorial will be at the CU Event Center. It's open to the public and free for everyone to attend.
There's a new group of wolves roaming around Colorado. CPW says it completed its second gray wolf release last week in Eagle and Pitkin counties. 15 of the wolves are new. They're from British Columbia, Canada. But with more wolves coming, there is new concern from ranchers. So far, wolves have killed 27 sheep or cattle in Colorado.
Ranchers that I talk with, many are feeling angry, fearful of increasing uncertainties, and wondering if they'll be able to continue. We must keep our ranchers ranching.
And we're going to have much more in this latest round of wolves being released coming up on 9 News at 5.